Everything you put your hand go walk. Your name go open doors. You self go be a boss. Amen. Amen. Everything you put your hand go walk. Your name go open doors. You self go be a boss. Amen. Amen. Every hustler getting paid. Where the hustle go come the pay. Your own in no go take. Amen. If you dey find work to your own, God self go do his own, and flesh go cover bone. Amen. Amen. If you believe it, say amen. If you believe it, say amen. If you believe it, say amen. 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 Everything you put your hand go on. Your name go open doors. You self go be a boss. Amen. Amen. Everything you put your hand go up. Your name go open doors. You self go be a boss. Amen. Amen. Sister where one man receives until where they find pity. One day you go born twins. Amen. Amen. Then not we don't losing job. Landlord come they do like God. One day you go be landlord. Amen. Amen. Good news go locate you. Watch and see it not go take. If you believe it, say amen. No. Amen. Amen. Everything you put your hand go up. Your name go open doors. You self go be a boss. Amen. Amen. Everything you put your hand go walk. Your name go open doors. You self go be a boss. Amen. Amen.
Keeping it locked and loaded.
Drop that beat.
It's DJ Hard Knocks.
Long life go follow you. Strangers go favor you. Great men go honor you. Amen. Amen. One day you go sign the check. Oh, you self go drive that Benz. Oh, this life go still make sense. Oh, amen. Your children go make you proud. Oh, bad people no go pull you down. No, one day you go run this town. No, amen. Amen. You self go spray me money. Baby go call you a me. You self go host the party. Amen. Amen. Dangote go be your friend. Otedola go be your friend. Adenuga go be your guy. Amen. Amen. Elubelu go be your guy. Abdussamad go be my guy.